There's a moment every concert goer knows too well. You wake up early, you join the queue, you refresh the page again and again, and somehow every ticket is gone in 30 seconds. But don't worry, the same tickets magically reappear 5 minutes later on resale sites for 5 times the price. And if you've ever wondered how that happens, the answer is simple. Secondary ticket markets are one of the purest and most brutal examples of supply and demand in the real world. They are one of the most manipulated, distorted, and misunderstood markets in modern economics, which is exactly what makes them so fascinating to us. Welcome to Rebel Economics, where we look at the most interesting economic phenomena. And today, it is all about the market that is a capitalist's wet dream, ticket reselling. So first, let's look at why ticket prices explode once they hit the secondary market. And here, the reason does not just lie in the workings of the secondary market itself, but in fact in the workings of the primary one. Because the official market for tickets is not a real market at all. It's a lottery. Oftentimes, ticket prices are far below what people are actually willing to pay, depending on the exact artist, of course. This is not because they're generous, but because they don't want to look greedy, and because fans get angry when prices reflect reality. So instead of charging the true market price, artists charge a politically acceptable price. And that is exactly what creates enough room for a secondary ticket market to emerge that takes advantage of this. Because there's not just one value of the ticket. In fact, it holds many values, and the question is, which one are you willing to pay? Fundamentally, there are 3 prices of note. There's the face value, which is what the artist charges. Then there's the market value, which is what fans are willing to pay. And then there's the resale value, which is the sum that scalpers capture. And the gap between these 3 values is where billions of dollars are made. So let's get down to business and look at the real numbers of the secondary ticket market. The global secondary ticket market is worth between $15 to $20 billion per year. In the US alone, resale platforms like StubHub, SeatGeek, and Vivid Seats handle over $10 billion annually. And we're not looking at a small number of tickets either. For major concerts, 20 to 30% of all tickets end up on secondary markets. And for extremely high demand events like Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, or BTS, this can spike up to 50% or even more. But it is not just an immense number of tickets that land on the secondary market. Above all, it is the price inflation that makes the marketplaces so fascinating. The average markup is about 100 to 200%, whereas for high-demand artists, this can reach up to 500 to 1,000%, and in the most extreme cases, price inflation can reach up to 10,000%. During the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, face value tickets range from $49 to $449. On resale sites, they regularly hit $1,000 to $10,000, with VIP packages reaching $20,000 to $40,000. This isn't a glitch. This is the market doing exactly what it is expected to when demand outweighs supply by such crazy amounts. Because the supply is limited. There are only so many concerts, and per concert, only a limited number of seats. And for artists like Taylor Swift, the demand is near limitless. And when demand is that high, the true market price becomes whatever the most desperate fan is willing to pay. And some of these fans are willing to do anything just to get their hands on a ticket. So seeing the huge discrepancy between the face value and the market value, you might ask why artists are allowing this to happen. Why do they permit this gap to exist for the secondary ticket market to prosper when they could just charge more themselves? And the short answer is because imagine how much hate they would get if they actually charged that much. Fans would despise them for it, and every celebrity knows that they only matter as long as they have adoring fans surrounding them. If Taylor Swift were to actually charge over $1,000 per ticket, if not more, even she might face some backlash. And let's be honest, If you manage to get your hands on something for $200 that you could then resell for $2,000, wouldn't you do it? And for many of us, the answer is yes. I know for me it sure would be. And that is exactly where scalpers come in. Scalpers are individuals or businesses that buy tickets for events at face value and then resell them at a higher price, taking advantage of that gap between high demand and limited availability. But as so often is the case, this has taken on new dimensions thanks to technological advancements. And when we talk about these secondary ticket markets that scoop up as many tickets as they can, we are not talking about rows and rows of people clicking on the refresh button just in the hopes to get their hands on a ticket. No, we're talking about bots. These manage to buy 20 to 40% of tickets within seconds. During the Taylor Swift Ticketmaster meltdown, there were 14 million purchase requests in a single day, many of them performed by bots, causing a system failure due to the crazy high numbers of purchase requests. Over the entire sale period, there were 3.5 billion total system requests, 4 times higher than any previous sale. So when the competition on the primary market is so fierce and being human is a disadvantage, well, then if you want to go to that concert, you really don't have many other options than to try your luck on the secondary ticket market. And that is exactly what these scalper companies are relying on. In a fascinating way, by buying up so many tickets, they decrease the limited supply even further, and at the same time profit from exactly that, as it allows them to set the prices even higher. In a way, it is absolutely genius, becoming the ultimate engine to perfect and manipulate the economic principle of supply and demand. Seeing the immense success and profit margins of these secondary ticket markets, primary markets are now also adjusting in an attempt to decrease the gap between the face value and the market value, and get a piece of the action in the meantime. Ticketmaster now uses dynamic pricing, which adjusts prices in real time based on demand, meaning that it literally does what the scalpers do: watch demand, raise prices accordingly, and pocket the value gap of the tickets. But this makes the situation only worse for the fans, since now even the primary ticket market doesn't give them a chance to get the tickets at a reasonable price. It may have been unlikely, it may have been the equivalent of becoming a millionaire by playing the lottery. But damn, at least there was a sliver of hope. Now that has all but disappeared. Because Ticketmaster is essentially a monopoly. It controls 70 to 80% of the primary ticket market in the US. And beyond just that, Live Nation, the company that owns Ticketmaster, controls 60% of major concert venues. The vertical integration here is all-consuming, controlling tickets, venues, artists, promotions, etc. When one company controls the entire supply chain, the market stops being a market. As long as demand exists, they can do nearly anything, because there's no one in the industry that can stop them. But there's one being that looms even over Ticketmaster: the government. Rules and regulations could potentially limit its power, and that of secondary ticket markets. Over the years, governments, platforms, and artists have tried dozens of solutions with limited success. In 2016, the Bots Act was established in the US, which made it illegal to use automated software to buy tickets in bulk. And in principle, that sounds great, except that enforcement is almost non-existent. Most bot operators are overseas. The bots evolve faster than regulations, and platforms can't distinguish between a bot and a really fast human. Even on the rare occasion that they are caught and are made to pay the fine, the scale is laughable. A bot operator can make $100,000 in a single morning. A fine of $5,000 is just a business expense to them. Other attempts have been the Verified Fan program initiated by Ticketmaster itself, requiring fans to register, thereby filtering out bots. But again, bots develop and improve at incredible speed, and while some of the bot traffic may have been reduced, it barely made a dent. Paperless tickets were another failed attempt by Ticketmaster to undermine scalpers, but in the end, all that happened was that they would sell the login information to the specific Ticketmaster account with the ticket, Or they would simply use burner phones that they would then send to the person. Apart from that, bots may exacerbate the issue, but the underlying limited scarcity is still there. Even if all of the bots disappeared, there would still be 3 million fans wanting a ticket, 500,000 seats, and in the end, 2.5 million angry people who couldn't get a ticket on the primary market, willing to try their luck in the secondary one. Even if you try to cap official secondary ticket markets entirely, as was attempted by parts of the EU, meaning that no reselling was permitted at all that this did was create a black market. The core issue remains. Demand is high and supply is low. A huge value gap is created, and no matter if legally or illegally, people will always find a way around it to make money. So where does that leave us regarding the crazy economics of ticket reselling? Well, secondary ticket markets might yet diminish, but only to make way for something perhaps much worse: Ticketmaster. One way or another, fans have no remedy but to shell out whatever is demanded of them if they want to go see their favorite artists, be it through the secondary ticket market or the behemoth that is Ticketmaster. Thanks so much for watching Real Economics. If this topic interests you, then make sure to check out the video on the screen about the crazy economics of dynamic pricing.